Blessed Sunday sa ating lahat po. Ito po si Nico Fabian. Nandito na naman tayo po sa programa natin Nick Talk, The Real Talk with Nico. And today it's Sunday, February 22. February 22 na po and malapit na po ang February 29. 29. Hanggang 29 lang tayo this year. And I hope everything is running smoothly. Ang fasting month natin sa mga kaibigan natin ng Muslim brothers and sisters who are doing the fasting, ang Ramadan po, as well as ang mga Kristiyano is also fasting ang Lenten season ngayon po. And of course, wag natin kalimutan din ang mga Chinese friends natin, mga relatives natin po, kaibigan natin. Now, they are also continuing to celebrate itong Chinese New Year 2026, no? So, I hope everything is running smoothly. Let us all work together in unison, cooperate each other in celebrating itong Chinese New Year, Year of the Five Horse. And at the same time, let's all make this, sabihin natin, fasting month, both ang mga Kristiyano as well as mga Muslims, make it solemn and meaningful as well as happy, sabihin natin fasting period ng mga Kristiyano at saka mga kapatid natin sa Islam, those who are embracing the Islamic faith. So, okay, mayroon tayo dito mga issues ngayon and I will focus more on today, dahil Sunday ngayon po, relax tayo. I would like to focus my program today is on the exclusive interview made by presidential front runner natin sa Pilipinas, si Vice President Inday Sara Duterte, because of or just recently she already announced her intention to be a candidate on or during the 2028 presidential election. Dahil dyan po, medyo nagising ang mga Filipino po and parang nakita natin po, parang ang election fever, no? Nandito na sa mga Filipinos po as early as February 2026. Dahil ang election po is still on 2028. But many are saying it's not too far ang 2028 and okay lang daw yan po. Maganda. Some are saying that was a good maneuvering technique made by Inday Sara Duterte when it comes to, sabihin natin, itong intention niya to be the next president of the Philippines, 18th president, if I'm not mistaken, no? The 18th president after si Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr. will step down. Kung maano siya po, no? He will be able to complete ang term niya po hanggang 2028 dahil he was elected as President 2022 hanggang 2028 yan po. Now, why do I say kung makaabot siya po sa 2028? Dahil po nakita natin ang daming problema ang Pilipinas and some Filipinos or several Filipinos are talking about we are fed up. Ang mga Filipinos are fed up with what is happening in the Philippines, especially the problem of graft and corruption. Graft and corruption, we have problems sa security, we have problem on the rising prices of essential goods natin po, mahal ang electricity and water supply po, mahirap ang buhay ng mga Filipino, we have a problem on bilateral relationship po, shaky ang bilateral relationship natin po between Philippines and China because of ang mga politicians natin. And ang mga tao din, mga Filipino po, whether we like it or not po, it is very obvious that wala nang enough trust and confidence to the present administration dahil po itong problema ng flood control projects wherein trillions of pesos taxpayers money po were stolen from the Filipinos. Tayo mga ordinaryong Filipino po. Instead, ang mga taxpayers or mga taxes natin went to the right people for a right project, development projects po. Unfortunately po, it went to greedy politicians po, no? greedy politicians. When I say politicians, whether we like it or not po, lumabas ng mga pangalan, hindi naman lahat, but names of senators and many congressmen po. And quite a number of government, sabihin natin, government agencies and departments po, heads of government agencies and departments also involved in these flood control projects, no? Reportedly involved in the flood control projects, as well as itong mga undersecretaries ngayon po ni Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr., mga undersecretaries, secretaries, and assistant secretaries, and many more. That includes ang business sector natin, especially ang mga contractors. And because of this po, mahirap ang buhay ng mga Pilipino ngayon. But anyway, we are not losing hope po, no? Ang mga Filipinos, we still believe that kaya pa natin i-resolve itong problema, provided mag-unite ang mga Filipinos po, no? Let's continue to be united and fight for our rights. Laban ng tayo po of what we believe is true. The truth po. Yung, hindi masaya. We are not happy with what is going on sa Pilipinas, because when we talk about the flood control projects, the administration has yet to prove to us po that they are very sincere in addressing itong problema natin ng flood control projects, the national budget po, no? 2023, 2024, 25, including 2026, which is reportedly tarnished, no? With anomalous deals. So sana lang po we will be able to solve. But anyway, before I will give you ang mga detalles or details on the and some footages po on the exclusive interview of presidential frontrunner Inday Sara Duterte, our Vice President ngayon po, incumbent Vice President of the Philippines, no? Which was interviewed by the a grupo ng si Banatbay po, no? Diyan po sa SMNI, no? Media Network. Maganda yun po because nakita natin, or when I was monitoring itong interview po, lumabas talaga po pagkatao ni Inday Sara Duterte. She was so down to earth when she talked, without any fears and apprehension po. And she just said ano mayroon sa isip niya po. And that is very good. That's one point na naman po nakita natin, or I saw myself, na sincero ito si Inday Sara Duterte po. And she is now the front runner as a presidential candidate come 2028. If the election will be held tomorrow, then I am quite sure 100% po that Inday Sara Duterte will come out victorious. Po. And anyway, let's see what will happen on the coming days, weeks, months, or years po. No? And especially next week. Kasi nandyan na po ang impeachment complaint against Inday Sara Duterte. The House of Representatives will be making a decision next week. And let's see what will be the decision, whether the House of Representatives will impeach Inday Sara Duterte or not, whether the impeachment process will go as far as dyan po sa Senado. And then, kung mayroon ba talagang impeachment trial. And in the event mayroon impeachment trial po, will she be convicted? Ngayon po, maraming question mark na po when it comes to the conviction or the developments of the impeachment complaint against Inday Sara Duterte. But later on, I'm going to share with you po ang sabihin natin some video clips po ng a portion of the interview of Inday Sara Duterte, which was carried out yesterday po by SMNI. Shoutout muna tayo kay Mary Lou Pentojo, who is also watching itong programa natin. And of course, ang kaibigan natin, I'm sure si Lester, no? Siguro si Lester nandyan yun po sa Pilipinas, no? And aside sa palagi dito po sa Kuala Lumpur, of which ngayon nandito ako sa Kuala Lumpur po, no? Wala tayo dyan sa Kota Kinabalu. Although I am based in Kota Kinabalu, but today, nandito tayo po since early this month, and I'll be until next month po. Dito tayo sa Kuala Lumpur, and I'll be doing my work as a media personality, as a media profession, as my profession po. I am doing the coverage dito po sa Kuala Lumpur, and of course, all my stories will also be published dyan po sa newspaper namin, the independent local newspaper, English newspaper po sa Sabah. We call it Daily Express. Daily Express po. Alright. But before sharing with you itong interview ni Inday Sara Duterte, let me share with you first muna po na about ang Visit Malaysia Year 2026 po. Ngayon po, ang Malaysia is celebrating or has launched ang Visit Malaysia 2026 po, encouraging ang mga tao from different countries to come and visit Malaysia because we have a lot of things to offer sa mga visitors dito po sa Malaysia. And there was an interview yesterday afternoon dyan po sa Money Matters, dyan po sa TV3, no? And they were talking about, ang issue nila po is more on the tourism sector ng Malaysia, no? Tourism sector ng Malaysia. Remember, Malaysia, last year, ang record nila po, top on the list talaga po when it comes to tourist arrivals. No? Asian countries, tayo ang number 1 po. Ang Malaysia ang number 1. Unfortunately po, no? Sad to say na ang Philippines ang pinakamababa, no? Sa lista. Doon tayo talaga po sa baba sa lista po. Malaysia, I think they recorded something like 28 million foreign arrivals last year, followed by, if I'm not mistaken, Vietnam, and then Thailand, Singapore, no? And ang pinakamababa talaga po ang Pilipinas with at least, mayroon lang tayo siguro po mga 2 or 3 million foreign arrivals dyan po sa Pilipinas last year. Bakit? Ano nangyari? Ang dami po. Ang dami. Siguro dahil dyan sa corruption issue natin, security issue natin, there is no political stability, no security stability, and economic stability po. Questionable sa Pilipinas. And this is the reason siguro why ang performance natin when it comes to tourist arrival, foreign tourist arrival sa Pilipinas po, really died last year po. I hope and pray that we will be able to pick up this year po, no? This year. Anyway, let me share with you po a portion of the interview sa Money Matters, no? About ang strategy, tourism strategy of Malaysia, no? On how to achieve. I think this year, Malaysia is targeting to record something like 48 million tourist arrival by the end of this year. And hindi imposible po. It's not impossible. Looking at the promotion the Malaysian government is doing, looking at the many tourism attractions so mayroon tayo dito po, no? When we talk about ecotourism, punta tayo po dyan sa Sabah or sa Sarawak is Malaysia. And dito naman sa West, which is the capital, ang Kuala Lumpur po, you want more shopping ka, you know, and historical places po, ang dami dito sa West Malaysia. Ang dami dito sa West Malaysia. But anyway, let's listen to a portion of the Money Matters interview made by itong tourism veteran natin po and incumbent Federation of ASEAN Travel Association po or FATA, no? Siya po ang presidente and I'm referring to no other than Dr. Tan Kok Liang. Dr. Tan Kok Liang po. And nandito po ang interview. Let's watch and listen to this po.
1994, 2007, and 2014. And those campaigns are come and see. But now
Si Dato Tan.
what tourists are expecting, what they want, and not trying to sell what we want to sell. And if you look into that, we can see that 2026 will be different in terms of the packaging will be on authenticity, sustainability, personalization, and emotional connection. That's where we are coming on. And Mr. Nation 2026 for me is no longer currency, but more a common experience, a common experience, a common connect with the people. That's where we are coming from. So it's a major destination, and our branding will be towards post-COVID-19, what travelers are expecting to explore in Malaysia. This is the trend that has changed post-COVID. Yes, we have to look at very different ways of attracting tourists to come to Malaysia. Yes, yeah. As I mentioned earlier, the last time we were more like shopping stops, but now we are looking into taking the tourists into an immersion experience rather than being educational tours, sitting in the hawker food courts. So going to the explore the jungle with indigenous guys. So it's a new experience that travelers want to see. So looking at different sources, we talk about this as well. Should we try and promote the high spending tourists, or should we look at mass, especially when visit Malaysia here is concerned? Yeah, I believe that looking to tourist arrivals is just a benchmarking. But if you look into assessment of whether it's successful, we should be looking to longer stay tourists spending more by engaging with the local community. Of course, not only in major cities, but also spread out in secondary cities and other rural destinations. There was assessment of how successful this actually is. Okay, so let me talk about the global travel demand outlook. Because global travel is projected to grow around 8 to 10% in 2026. Which source markets are showing the strongest growth potential for Malaysia? The strongest growth potential, as I mentioned, ASEAN market is always vibrant. It constitutes about 75% of the arrivals. But if you look beyond the ASEAN market, which is vibrant and short stay, we can look into especially China. I think China, they are quite positive now. And of course, as I mentioned, India, Middle East, and of course, Australian markets, Japan, South Korea, and the UK Euro markets. If you look to very long haul, the US and the South American markets, I mean, we can tap the market, but the arrivals probably will be quantity and longer stay. But I don't think the numbers will be very much. Dr. Tan, hold that thought. When we come back, we'll talk about ASEAN destinations as well. Stay with us on Money Matters. We're talking to...
Alright, yun po, narinig natin ang veteran tourism veteran player sa sektor na turismo po, si Dr. Tan Kok Leang po, no? So yun po ang mga ideas na po, no? And kung paano po ang promotion or mga ongoing sabihin natin proyekto, no, ng Malaysian government to make sure that they will be able to hit the target by the end of this year po. Today is this year is a Visit Malaysia year, and next year 2027 will be Sabah Visit the Sabah year 2027 po. Alright? So, punta na tayo po sa mga issues dyan po sa Pilipinas. Okay, to start with, no? Konting 1,000 apology. I will not go first on the interview of Inday Sara Duterte, but let me share with you this a video clip wherein tomorrow, for your information, mga followers ko po dito sa TikTok, tomorrow there will be the hearing of Tatay Digong po. Yon confirmation hearing of Tatay Digong po dyan po sa ICC or The Hague, dyan po sa Netherlands po. And that will be tomorrow. And Tatay Digong will not be attending the hearing, be it physically or virtually. Sabi ni Tatay Digong, because I don't recognize ang jurisdiction sa akin ng ICC, ng International Criminal Court. So, one of the respected media personality po dyan sa Pilipinas, nandiyan ngayon po sa The Hague, and kahapon, Saturday yon, she managed to interview or get some reaction coming from the Filipino communities na nandoon sila po sa The Hague. No? Nandoon sila sa The Hague. And let's watch and listen po. No? Let's watch and listen ang a portion of the interview of Pinky Webb. Si Pinky Webb yan po, no? Nasa The Hague po, and ito po ang nakuha niya mga reaction ng mga Filipinos dyan po sa The Hague kahapon Saturday. Let's watch and listen to this.
Pwedeng mag-asikaso nun eh.
Alright. Sandali
Ilang
ha.
mga Duterte supporters, if I were to
Hold on.
approximate, there's a
Hold on.
pwedeng mag-asikaso nun eh. Yung mga attorney niya. Ilang mga Duterte supporters, if I were to approximate, there's about 50 or so of them right now. Kausapin natin yung ilan sa kanila. Ito si JP, no? Opo. From? Netherlands, Rotterdam, the Netherlands. So, ano ang iyong reaksyon doon sa naging desisyon ng korte na i-grant yung hiling ni dating Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte na i-waive yung kanyang right para mag-appear doon sa confirmation of charges beginning on Monday?
I think fair yun. Kasi nagkakaedad na nga siya. Tapos meron naman siya mga legal, mga pwedeng mag-asikaso na nun. Yung mga attorney niya. Siguro fair yun na decision.
But did you want to see him sana?
Sana, pero not in sa hearing. Outside sa ICC.
Ibig sabihin, pag makalaya siya, gano'n.
Mas better yun.
Okay, thank you, JP. Kayo po, name?
Guillermo Castillo
Guillermo.
from Bataan. And I'm here from Rotterdam also.
Also,
Yes.
kayo po, ano po ang inyong saloobin?
Para sa akin na tama yung pagkaka-grant sa kanya. Kasi nga, kaya niya siguro ginawa yun. Kasi nga, matanda na siya. Hindi niya siguro kaya. Nakita naman siguro natin na mahina na si Tatay Tico. Okay lang. Okay, tama yun.
Pagkatapos nito, where are you off to? Ngayong araw na.
Siguro, pasyal kami sa mall. Ikot-ikot lang.
Thank you. Punta tayo dito, meron pang, may pamilya akong nakilala dito. Sorry, excuse me.
Daughter at saka yung asawa ko si
So yung buong pamilya mo dala mo?
buong pamilya at saka mga brothers and sisters ko sa church.
Okay. And ano po ang inyong saloobin niya? Former President Duterte will not show up during the confirmation of charges on Monday.
We will pray for it. We will claim it na in favor na si President natin, former President Duterte, will be having a good hearing na but if he's not coming out, so this is choice. It is choice. Yeah, as a human being, and it is rights as well. So we have to pray na ang government natin at saka sa ICC ma-enlighten din yung mind nila na mapawalang sala ang ating former president.
And you brought your whole family?
Yes, yeah. 3 of us, my husband and my daughter.
Oh,
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
Sharon, thank you. Alright, so gaano katagal pa kayo dito after ngayon? Paalis na rin.
Yeah.
Tapos kailan ang balik?
Magpaplano kami
UK
tomorrow.
Taga-UK po kayo?
Apo.
Yes. Kami. Group po namin. Okay, thank you. Alright, so far, it's a Saturday, again, around 2 p.m. Confirmation of charges of the former president will happen on Monday, Tuesday. There's a break on Wednesday, and it'll continue on Thursday and Friday. Pagkatapos po nun is that the judges have about up to 60 days rather to decide whether to confirm and go on a full-blown trial, to reject, at wala na pong trial na magaganap, or may isa pa pong posibleng mangyari ay humingi pa daw ng karagdagang ebidensya.
Alright, yan ba, narinig natin na si Pinky Webb nasa The Hague siya po, dyan sa ICC. sa Duterte Park, and she managed to interview or get ang mga reaction with some of the Filipinos po nandoon ngayon po, no, sa outside the detention center of Tatay Digong. Roughly, sabi ni Pinky Web, roughly around 50 yung kahapon, no, Saturday. And let's see po, because tomorrow, Monday, ang official hearing of confirmation ng kaso ni Tatay Digong. And let's see po, tayo din dito po, we are going to monitor. I'm sure it will be online. And whatever mga developments doon po, I'm going to share with you. Anyway, sige po, tuloy na tayo po. Ang video clips ni Inday Sara Duterte, it won't be in order. Random na lang tayo po para madali. And ang unang-una, no? Ang unang-unang video clip that I want to share with you po ay ito. When she was asked by Banatbay kung sakali magiging presidente siya po, no? Come 2028, anong solution na mayroon siya po sa problema ng korupsyon? Problema ng korupsyon. Nandito po ang sagot ni Inday Sara Duterte.
Korupsyon. Alam naman natin yan, kaliwat kanan ng korupsyon. Ano ang magiging solusyon ninyo kung sakaling kayo maging Pangulo sa issue ng korupsyon?
Unang-una, ano talaga yun yung kamay na bakal sa mga nasa ilalim. Hindi mo palalampasin. Kumbaga, pag merong ginawa, alis kagad, palitan kagad. Hindi na yung pag-uusapan pa, itatago pa. Hindi ganon. Diretso, one shot lang. Ikaw may ginawa na pangungurakot, wish ka na dyan. Ganon. Hindi siya dapat patawarin, hindi siya dapat pinapabayaan, at hindi siya dapat na hindi pinapansin. Na kumbaga parang wala lang. Dapat, pag merong nangyari, alis, palitan niyo yan.
Okay, yun po ang answer ni Inday Sara Duterte. Alisan agad kung may corruption or involved ang tao sa corruption po dyan po sa gobyerno. Now, the next video clip that I did to share with you po, when she was asked, no, bakit she announced ang candidacy niya maaga. And sabi niya po, this is, he's just answering the call of the people po. I'm just answering the call of the people. Nasaan na yan po? Nandito, and let's watch briefly ang reaction niya po.
So yung form of remorse ko, apology ko, is ibigay yung gusto ng mga tao na tumakbo akong pagka-presidente. Gusto kong ayusin ang mga pagkakamali na ginawa sa bayan natin.
Yan po. She's just answering ang, sabihin natin, ang call ng taong bayan for her to run. When she was asked about sino ang tandem niya po, no? Yesterday I was talking about tandem. She will not announce yet because it is too early. But anyway, during the interview, they asked a question kay Inday Sara Duterte, mayroon ka na ba? Vice President tandem? Nandito po ang sagot ni Inday Sara Duterte. Hold on, nandito po.
May nirecruit ako. Hanggang dyan lang ang sasabihin ko. Nirecruit ko siya last year pa. Kaso, huwag na muna natin yan pag-usapan. Protektahan natin yung tao hanggang sa makapag-desisyon siya kung anong gagawin niya sa karera niya. Ito lang ang sasabihin ko. Hindi pwede na walang managot. Yung nire-recruit ko na Vice President, siya sa mga gumawa ng mali sa bayan. Para ako, nakatutok ako sa trabaho ng presidente. Ito lang ang sasabihin ko. Hindi pwede na walang managot. Yung nire-recruit ko na vice president, siya ang magpapanagot sa mga gumawa ng mali sa bayan. Para ako, nakatutok ako sa trabaho ng presidente.
Alright, okay din ang sagot niya sa question na yan po. And another question raised, kung kailangan bakit hindi siya mag-apologize kay BBM, kay Bongbong Marcos. Nandito po ang sagot niya. Why should I apologize kay BBM? Hold on po.
Dapat daw mag-apologize ka doon sa mga remarks mo against the president and yung iba pang mga sinasabi nila na nagawa mo.
Bakit ako mag-apologize sa remarks ko sa Pangulo? Hindi nga sila nag-apologize sa ginawa nila sa akin. Documented ang mga threats sa akin. Hindi namin yan nilalabas kasi nga meron pang impeachment na mangyayari at yun ay subject nila sa impeachment nila. Ang masasabi ko lang dyan, hindi nga krimen, nagiging impeachable offense. So hindi ako magsasorry sa kanila. Sila muna magsorry sa akin dahil documented yung threats namin.
Alright, yan, narinig natin. Sorry, apologies po. Hindi daw siya mag-apologize. Sino daw muna mag-apologize or ang kampo ni BP Sara. Ang question naman sa kanya tungkol isang congressman, and siguro alam niyo po kung sino itong congressman po, na sabi niya, itong congressman that he will not give his support to Inday Sara Duterte. Natalo ito pero nagiging congressman pa rin po ngayon, no? Natalo sa election but congressman ngayon po dyan sa Pilipinas. Alam na ninyo po, I will not mention names, but siguro may mga idea na kayo po kung sino ito po, no? Kung sino itong congressman. So, nandito ang sagot ni Inday Sara Duterte. Nandito, saan na yun, ha? 59. Nandito po. Let's watch and listen.
Meron pang isang congressman na hindi naman nanalo pero nakaupo ngayon ang nagsabi na hindi daw siya susuporta sa. Ano mensahe mo sa kanya?
Hindi ko rin naman siya sinuporta nung siya ay tumakbo eh. So, it's a tie. It's a tie. Nauna na ako hindi sumuporta sa kanya.
And doon sa sinasabi naman nila na personal interest lang daw yan. Ambition without accountability.
Hindi ko maintindihan. Ano ba sinasabi nila na walang accountability? May 4 sila na impeachment complaints. Diba? Araw-araw nila tinatreten na i-imbestigahan, magta-trial, i-impeach. So, hindi ko alam saan doon ang walang accountability. Nung meron naman nag-file ng impeachment complaint, ano ba sinabi namin? We are prepared to answer it during trial.
Yan po, narinig natin. Okay, next video clip, yon question kay Inday Sara Duterte, hindi ba siya natakot ngayon, after all these things, left and right din siya, bana siya sa gobyerno, hindi ba siya natakot? Is she not afraid of anything that can happen to her? Could happen to her, ang mga threat sa buhay niya? Let's watch and listen to her reply po. Nandito po ang reply.
Hindi po ba kayo natatakot na sa pagsalita nung ito ay malalagay sa alanganin ng inyong buhay?
Hindi na ako takot kasi kasama na yun sa desisyon ko na posibleng gagawin sa akin. In fact, sinabi na nga sa akin noon na meron naman talagang plano na mga ganon. So, hindi na ako takot kasi ano na yun kumbaga kalakip na yon sa desisyon na ginawa ko. Hindi siya pwedeng mahiwalay doon sa desisyon ko So, hindi pwedeng nag-decide ako tatakbong president, pero matatakot akong patayin ako. Hindi na. So, kinalimutan ko na yon. Wala na yan. Yung pagka panalo naman, Diyos na ang sasagot nun. Kasi nga sabi ng Diyos, diba? Magplano man ng tao, pero ako pa rin ang masusunod. So, nagplano ako. Natatakbo akong Pangulo. Sinunod ko kung ano yung hinihingi ng taong bayan. Diyos na ang bahala kung ano yung mangyayari sa susunod.
Alright, parte na daw yan po, ang mga threat sa buhay niya po, no? And he's not worried about that thing. Bahala na daw ang Diyos. Alright, when asked, if you notice po, during the press conference, hindi naman yung press conference announcement ni Inday Sara Duterte, when she made that announcement, February 26 ba yun? No. Kailan ba yun, the other day, na nag-announce siya that ang intention niya to run. If you notice, walang ang Vice President seal. No? At she's using a black, a colored dress. No? Bakit kaya? Kasi mga tao nag-question din, bakit wala ang seal? And bakit, why she's wearing black? Nandito po ang sagot ni Inday Sara Duterte. Para mas klaro, mas disyente po. No? Let's listen to her reply sa itong question po. Let's watch and listen to this.
Sa the Vice President, pinatanggal ko yung seal at yung flag ng Office of the Vice President. Yung itim naman ay kulay ng protesta. Protesta laban sa administrasyon ni BBM, ni Marcos. So yun yung kulay na napil ni Senator Amy Marcos din. And nagluluksa dahil napakadilim noong nakikita kong kinabukasan natin sa administrasyon ni BBM. Pinatanggal ko.
Alright, klaro po. Itim because it symbolizes protesta po. Natanggal niya po, or he did not use the seal of the Vice President because she wants it to be, siya na po, ordinaryong Filipino. She is an ordinary Filipino and seeking for the post of the highest post of the country, and that is the president or executive post. No? Alright, now when she was also asked about, ano masasabi niya? What can you say about when your father, before your father was saying, the post of a president, hindi dapat babae. It should not be a female. We should not have a female president dahil po the life of a president is very difficult po. No? It's very difficult. And nandito ang sagot ni Inday Sara Duterte. No? Inday Sara Duterte, when she was asked to comment on that on this particular issue. Let's watch and listen ang sagot ni Inday Sara Duterte.
So,
Siya din ang nagsabi na ang pagiging presidente hindi fit sa isang babae.
sa tingin ko naman sa lahat ng bagay, hindi lang sa pagiging Pangulo, ay walang gender consideration. Yung iba, meron silang paniniwala na merong mga trabaho na hindi para sa babae, pero para sa akin, ang pagiging Pangulo, walang, kasarian, tama ba, no? Sex, wala siyang gender. So, yun siguro yung paniwala ni Pangulong Duterte at sa tingin ko hindi lang siguro siya yung may mga ganyan na paniniwala, pero para sa akin yung gender wala yan. Nasaan yan? Yung kalooban ng tao tsaka kakayahan ng tao.
Ako na
Alright, yun po. Ang ganda din ang rason ni or reply ni Inday Sara Duterte. Okay, do you still, itong question na ito po, sabi nila, si Inday Sara Duterte mentioned something about nanalo si President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr. sa 2022 election. He won because of Sara Duterte. So, Inday Sara Duterte, when asked about to comment or when asked to comment on this issue po, she again clarified everything. Clarified everything. No? She said she did not say that Bongbong Marcos won because of her. Hindi po. So, nandito ang explanation ni Inday Sara Duterte. Let's watch and listen to this po. Let's watch and listen to this. And kayo na po bahala to tingnan niya po kung okay ba, acceptable ba ang reasoning ni Inday Sara Duterte. Let's watch.
Nakakaintindi. I-confirm ko lang VP. Kasi ang pagkakaintindi ng mga tao, lalong-lalo na nung mga galit sa'yo sa mga sinabi mo is, ikaw ang reason ba't nanalo si BBM. So ang sinasabi mo dito is, nag-apologize ka for campaigning for BBM. Tama ba?
Nag-apologize ako kasi in-endorso ko siya. Humingi ako ng tulong sa mga tao para siya botohan. Hindi ko sinasabi ako yung rason. Sabi ko nga, destiny ang pagkapangulo eh. Pero nag-contribute ako sa pagbigay ng boto sa kanya. Sigurado ako doon. Kasi ako yung mga kaibigan ko sa Davao. Every time na umuwi ako, sinabi mo kasi na iboto nagtandem kasi kayo lalo na yung mga kaibigan ko sa Davao na wala pa ako sa politika. Bago pa man maging Pangulo ang tatay ko, kaibigan ko na sila. So yun talaga yung, kung meron pang mas real sa real talk, yun talaga yung, para ka nang kinulpi sa katotohanan na sinasabi nila.
Alright, yun po ang explanation ni Inday Sara Duterte. Sabi niya po, ang presidentes is destiny yan po. Depende yun sa Diyos po, no? But what she was saying is, she is apologizing sa publiko po, no? Because she played a role in campaigning, convincing ang mga voters to vote for BBM. But she did not say that dahil sa kanya po nanalo si BBM. No? Iba yun po. No? Iba yun. So sabi niya, nag-apologize ako sa publiko when I announced my intention. Hindi because I'm saying that nanalo si Bongbong o si BBM dahil sa akin. Sabi niya, I'm apologizing to the public because I played a role in convincing them to give support to BBM as the candidate for president. Yun po ang puntos niya po. And sabi niya po, ang dami po, mga kaibigan ko, they blame me for, convincing them to support si BBM. And yung mga close friend niya po, hindi lang mga close friend po. Hindi lang mga close friend. In fact, let's watch and listen to this statement made by Inday Sara Duterte regarding real talk talaga po about this situation. The real talk about this situation. Hold on. Let's watch and listen to this po. Saan na yun? I hope this is the one, Hold on.
Nakaintindi. I-confirm ko lang, VP. Kasi ang
Hold on.
nakaintindi,
I'll try to get.
Yung madaming beses na rin ako na real talk sa daan. Na,
Hold on. Nandito po.
Yung madaming beses na rin ako na real talk sa daan. Na salubong ko yung tao, makakasalubong ko yung tao, or kumakain ako, tapos merong kumakain dyan sa ibang lamesa, tapos magpapapicture sasabihin, alam mo, binoto namin si BBM dahil sa'yo Kasalanan mo talaga lahat to Hindi ko na mabilang ilang beses, lalo na sa mga tiga Mindanao. Doon kasi sa unfiltered ang mga tiga Mindanao sa akin. Sobra silang komportable sa akin kasi galing ako doon eh. Laki ako doon eh. Pumunta lang naman ako dito sa Manila para mag-aral, magtrabaho. Pero doon talaga ako lumaki, doon ako nakatira. So, sobrang unfiltered yung mga tao doon. Ikaw ang hinungdan Inday Sara sa mga kagubot karon sa ato ang nasod. Kay imuhaming di kumbinsi na iboto si BBM. So,
Ano pa nararamdaman niyo pag sinasabi?
nahihiya ako. Nahihiya ako. Nanliliit ako. Hindi ko alam kung paano ako ang mag-sorry. Sabi ko nga, gusto kong lumuhod, pero wala sa kultura ng Pilipino ang yung lumuhod ka ba? Ang lumuluhod lang kasi tayo sa Diyos eh. Diba?
Alright, yan po. Klaro, mas disente. Yon talaga ang straightforward ang answer niya po. Prangka na prangka po. Walang paligoy-ligoy. Ganon po ang sabihin natin ang style ni Inday Sara Duterte. And finally, mayroon tayo pa isa pang video clip before we will conclude itong programa natin po. And this time around, during the interview, she was asked to give her message to the viewers, to the public po. And lastly po, let's watch this video clip po. Nandito, hold on ha. Ang mensahe ni Inday Sara Duterte. Ni Inday Sara Duterte para sa mga tao. 114. Nandito po. Let's watch and listen to this.
Kung ano man yun sa personal. Sa mga kababayan natin na dumadaan sa hirap, kung ano man yun, sa personal man, sa trabaho man, o yung hirap ninyo sa politika, o sa mga dinadaanan ng bayan natin, magtiwala kayo sa Diyos. Lagi kayong magdasal na bigyan kayo ng lakas at ng kaalaman, strength and wisdom, at bigyan kayo ng grace na tanggapin kung ano yung nangyayari sa buhay ninyo. At pag merong nangyari na hindi maganda sa buhay ninyo, isipin nyo na lang na mas matindi yung nangyari. Mas matindi yung nangyari sa buhay ko. So, hindi yan ang katapusan ninyo. Kasi merong isang tao na mas matindi pa ang dinaanan. Pero hindi mag-give up.
Alright, yan ang mensahe ni Inday Sara Duterte po before na conclude na po ang interview dyan po sa SMNI. So, ito po na I hope maski paano I managed to give you clear ang mga minds niyo po and give you the necessary informations na you deserve to know. Dito po sa programa ngayon natin, Nick Talk, The Real Talk with Nico. And I will continue to monitor, especially bukas po, ang session ng House of Representatives. Ano mangyari sa impeachment complaint ni Inday Sara Duterte. Punta din tayo po dyan sa Senado. 3 o'clock yun din po ang session nila po. And we will also find time to see ang kung anong oras ang confirmation hearing of charges of Tatay Digong po dyan po sa The Hague. And whatever informations mayroon tayo dito po, I will make sure that you will be properly informed. I might not be able to give you the breaking news, but fresh na fresh pa rin po ay ang mga news that I'm going to share with you dito po sa programa natin, Nick Talk, The Real Talk with Nico. So siguro hanggang dito na lang. Maraming salamat po for being with me this afternoon. Sunday ngayon po, February 22. Ingat tayo. Let's start ang week bukas po, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday po. Let's make it a exciting, fruitful, and problem-free week para sa ating lahat. Do our best, no? As workers, no? As workers po, give our best also po sa mga employers natin po para at least happy all po. So with this, Nico Fabian would once again like to say thank you very much for making me a part of your day today. Ingat kayo po, Malaysia, Sabah, the Philippines. God bless us all. See you next episode. Bye, and I love you all.